Hi, welcome to question 6 of the Leaving Cert Ordinary Level, Paper 1 from 2021. If you want to copy the notes I'm working off, just send me an email to shanetroy@gmail.com. If you like these videos, hit the subscribe button to get access to more playlists. So question 6 here looks like an arithmetic sequence question, and I'll read through part A. It says the first three terms of an arithmetic sequence, that's important, are -5, k, and 1. Now, in an arithmetic sequence, the difference between or for lack of a better word, the pattern, okay, between the different parts of the sequence will be constant, okay. Um, Whereas with a geometric sequence, it will be just it's different. I suppose let's not go down that road, okay, for the moment. So the big thing here is that it is arithmetic. Now, part one says find k, and hence or otherwise show that the common difference is 3. So this K and common difference were on the exam paper itself. So that's why they're here. Now, these questions can be tricky, but if you've practiced them and you can remember what you practiced, they can be pretty handy, okay? So if I call this T term 1, term 2, term 3, I'll be more clear about that. -5, K, and 1. So that's the first term, that's the second term, that's the third term. So I know that because it's arithmetic, the difference is constant, okay? So T2 take away T1 should be the same thing as T3 take away T2. Now, if I put numbers to that, okay, and I'm going to try to rub them out, even though you'd show this work yourself. So T2 is K, okay, so K take, now T1 is -5, so I'll put that in brackets because the negative by negative would change that to a positive, okay. T3 we said was 1 and T2 was K. Now we have an equation here, okay, it's an equation of one unknown. Even though K appears twice, it's still one unknown. Now I'm going to go down, even though I shouldn't because I have space. Now K, take away -5 is the same thing as K plus 5. And that's equal to, leave the way it is, I'm not doing anything to the right hand side, 1 minus K. Now here, K, if I bring this K across the far side, so I want to get rid of this negative K here. If I add K to it, it's going to achieve that. If I do something to one side, I have to do it to the other. So I'm adding K to both sides. Why? So they cancel. I'm left with 1 is equal to, now on this side, K plus K is equal to 2K. Everything else stays the same. Now I want K on its own. So I look and see, well, what would I need to do to achieve that? I need to move the 5 or get rid of it. So simple way to get rid of that is to take 5 away from it. Okay, if I do it to one side, I got to do it to both. What's the consequence of that? Well, the 2k hasn't been changed. They cancel. Is equal to 1 take 5 is -4. Now again, I want k on its own, not 2 times k. So I'm going to get rid of that 2 by dividing by itself. That's the way to always get rid of a number. If it's been multiplied, you divide it by that same number. And as long as you do it to both sides or all the other terms, all's good. Okay. The consequence of that is the 2 and the 2 cancel. You're left with k is equal to, now here, this is a sum. Minus divided by plus is minus. 4 divided by 2 is 2. So k is -2. Now, if I now rewrote my sequence, I know it's -5, -2, 1. So what's the common difference? In a sense, if I did it again, T2 take away T1, okay, is equal to T3 take away T2. Put numbers to that, that's -2 take away -5 is equal to 1 take away -2. Now, put it to the calculator, whatever. -2 take away -5, that turns positive. -2 plus 5 is 3. Is equal to 1 take away -2 becomes plus. 1 plus 2 is 3. So my common difference is 3. Now, my work is terribly messy, okay? But I'm trying to be more prescriptive than I need to be necessarily. If your algebra is decent, you can cut out multiple steps here. But again, I'm trying to be hopefully more clear to you about what's happening from an algebraic point of view. And I suppose the core of this question is having decent algebra. If you do, you're probably going to be in a good place in terms of getting it. And there are other ways of doing this, but that's probably the one that would be the one I would prescribe personally. And there's the answer on the flip side. Okay, so I'm going to get rid of all that stuff there, and I should just keep a memory of k is -2, and the difference is 3. Now, in part 2 here, it says find T10, the 10th term in the sequence. Now, I forgot to have this open, but this is where the tables will come in handy. So I have a digital version. If you send me an email at shintry@gmail.com, I'll send it on to you. I'm looking for sequences and series. It's here on page 22. So click on that, and I have then the stuff for an arithmetic sequences here, and then geometric is down here. Okay, so I'm looking for I suppose the t term. Okay, I think it's t of 10. That's the formula I need. Okay, so let's get rid of that, and we can keep going. Okay, now if I rewrite that formula, okay, so the t of n is equal to a plus n minus 1 times d. And if you think about it, there's 4 unknowns here. I'm asked to find t10s, that's unknown, is equal to, now, question is, what is a, what is n, and what is d? Okay, now in this case, n is 10, because t of 10 is what we're looking for. A is the first term in the sequence, which we were given on the top there is -5. So -5 plus 10 minus 1 times, now d is the difference. So we said it here, the common difference is d, and that's 3. Now, if you look here, this is an equation of one unknown. All the other things were substituted for. So I can put it to the calculator, okay, or do it by hand. -5 plus 10 minus 1 is 9 times the 3. That'll become -5. Now 9 times 3 is 27. And just do the arithmetic there, that's 22. Okay, so the 10th term is 22. Now it's worth pointing out here, if you knew the common difference, you could just count up, as in literally go, what's after this? This would be 4, and then 7, and then 10. Just count up till you have 10 things, and you'll get the same answer. So there can be intuitive ways of doing this if you know that. This is one example where if I couldn't find the common difference, I didn't know what it was, make up a number. You'll be wrong in part A, part 1, but the number you use that you declared in part A, part 1, if you use that in part 2, you'll get full marks if you knew how to use this particular formula. Okay, so there's not always, if you can't get an answer to one part, it's not always very detrimental in the larger scheme of things. Now, A part 3 says, find which term in the sequence has a value of 247. Now, just bringing this across again, you see there, that's the sum of, actually, no, now I think about it, that's not how you do it. My bad, I almost went down the wrong path there. So in actual reality, I need to use the same formula again. So let me just rewrite it, okay. Now, in this case, okay, I'm looking for which term sequence has a value of 247. I thought it was, you add them all together. But it's just, this is fairly far down. It's like it could be T20, T30, something like that, whatever. So I know that Tn, okay, this is 247. Now, the A value is still the same, it's still -5, plus the N is what I'm looking for. What is N? And the difference is still 3. So once I have that done, okay, I can do my algebra. So 247 is equal to -5 plus 3n minus 3. So I'm basically multiplying the 3 into both terms there, just to simplify it. The 247 then is equal to, now -5 minus 3 is -8. Now at this stage, I want to finish my algebra off. There's a bit to go. I can get rid of this -8 by adding 8 to it. Okay, if I do it to one side, I got to do it to both. Now I'm running out of space, I'm going to get rid of that. That's going to go away because -8 plus 8 is 0. Now 247 plus 8 should be 255. Yeah, I probably should use a calculator. I'm famous for making little errors like that. So 255. Now then I want to get rid of the 3, so I divide it by itself. do it to one side, must do it to both. Now again for space, 3 divided by 3 is gone. You're left with n is equal to whatever 255 divided by 3 is. And that is 85. Okay. Now in a sense, you could have kept counting up. Like we said in part 2, you could have kept going. So 10, 13, 16, and just kept going until you got to 247. And then counting up how many terms. Okay, it's a perfectly valid way of doing it. Little inefficient, okay, but perfectly valid. And we get full marks. As long as you show what you're doing and then you have the right answer, you're going to do well. Each one of those questions, 5 marks, and then this one is 10. So a good chunk of marks for a small amount of work in the bigger scheme of things. And that's the answers there from the notes. Now, part B here says the first 3 terms of a different arithmetic sequence are 4, 9, and 16. Okay, so it's still arithmetic. Okay, now straight away, I know the first term there is 4. The D is take 2 minus 9, take 4 is 5. Okay. And 14 take 9 or 5. So the difference there is 5. Now this one says find S50, the sum of the first 50 terms in the sequence. So if you kept going, you could do it this way, I guess. Next one there would be what, 19, and then 24. Yeah, 24, and keep going. And then once you get to 50 terms, add them all up. Now it'll be taking a long time, but it will be the answer, okay? Or we can use the formula and just bring it across the math tables again. So the sum of an arithmetic sequence is this formula here. Okay, so remember, it's on page 22 of the math tables. Math tables are your friend. So S of n is equal to n over 2 times 2a plus n minus 1 times d. Now, we know what a is, we know what d is, we know what n is because it's 50. Okay, so that's because the first 50 terms. We just don't know what that S of n is. What is that actual value? So this is our unknown. We're going to put our numbers in. So 50 over 2 times 4 plus 50 times 1, my bad writing, times 5. Now, that whole thing can be programmed into the calculator. Now, normally I wouldn't do this, okay, but calculator work is really, really important thing to get good at. Now, this is a digital version of a calculator, but I'm going to do it, okay? So on the top there's 50 over 2, and then that's times, okay, now be careful here, 2 brackets 4. I want to type in exactly what's on the screen here, plus 50 take away 1, close brackets, and 5, close brackets. That should be it. Now I just realized I've put that in wrong. I'm going to go back. In the formula here, the way it's written, we would understand that that's what that's saying. It's saying 50 take away 1, which is 49 times 5. Okay. The calculator, I didn't put it in right. I need to put a brackets around here. Okay. To let the calculator know that that's multiplied by 5. Or alternatively, put the 5 in front of it. Okay. Plus 5 brackets. That should work. Now I fixed that. Okay. So just tell the calculator that the 5 is multiplied by the bracket previous. Okay. Which is I didn't have on the page. Press equal, and I got 6325. So S of 50 is equal to 6325. And that's it. Now, does the number make sense? Okay, you think, what would the numbers would get big, 24 or whatever, and you're adding them one by one by one. You'd expect it to be a big number. In fact, kind of expect it to be bigger than that, but it's only 50 terms, so think it through, it would be bigger. It's not getting bigger than that much. Yeah, it passes the smell test. Okay, it feels like a legit answer. Okay, and that's part B. Okay, so the answer here in terms of the notes should be the same thing. Now it's worth pointing out that if I'm using the calculator, okay, I should show this step. If I show this step written here, and then I had a wrong answer here, okay, this isn't, but let's say it was, I get penalized for the wrong answer. But this is the chunk of the work is here. It would be assumed you've made a calculator error, okay, and there'd be a deduction because that's an error. But it wouldn't be terribly dramatic. At worst, it'd be back to the 7. Okay, because again, you've shown this. Right, that's part B. I think it's in question 6, and it is. So this is question 6 from the 2021 Leaving Cert Ordinary Level, paper 1. If you want to copy the notes I'm working off, send me an email to shanetroy@gmail.com and hit like to subscribe to get access to more playlists. Thanks.